I am so excited for our live stream today. Hi, everyone. Okay, so we're doing it a little different. Usually, I'm a Zoom queen, but my girl LaShonda has convinced me that YouTube is where I need to be. And so we are live streaming this into my YouTube channel. So if you can see and hear me, do me a favor, drop a hi, let me know where are you tuning in from today. Today is a very chill, laid back live stream. We're chilled with a purpose though, because we know some of you are on your lunch break and you want to get this done wrapped up in an hour. So, for those of you who stumbled upon this video, or if you're watching the replay, my name is Amber Aziza. I am the founder of Scary But Brave, and I am like the queen of breaking through those hard moments that keep us from being our best selves. So, today we are going to cover our goals for 2024 that we set in quarter one. So, we had a live stream in quarter one. If you haven't seen it yet, after you see this video, go back in my YouTube and you can check out quarter one's video where we set our goals for the year and our commitments for the year. In this session, we're going to focus on okay, how do we make sure that we are staying on top of it? Because I told y'all that I was going to hold you accountable. You're going to hold me accountable. This is a team effort. So we're going to hold each other accountable on our goals. I'm also going to talk about analysis paralysis because a lot of you were sharing with me that like you're just struggling to break past the 8 million thoughts that are going in your head that stop you from making progress. And that a lot of your goals, you haven't made progress because you don't know what the next step is, or you're overthinking what the next step should be. So I'm really excited to share with you some tools, even some AI prompts that can help you push through that analysis paralysis and get to the other side of productivity. And then finally, I'm going to tell you about Scary But Brave. So if you're on our mailing list, hey, LaShonda, hey. If you're on our mailing list, then you already know that I have announced that I am closing the majority of my businesses to focus all of my energy on Scary But Brave. And Scary But Brave is my newest baby in businesses. However, it's the one I think that's going to impact the most people and change the most lives. So I'm going to share with you what it is, what's happening with it, how you can join, when it's going to be available to join, and all the other goodness that's going on, including a private WhatsApp group that's going to happen. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey, Krista. I'm not sure who GBOTO is, but hey, Bill. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm working off of multiple monitors, and y'all know sometimes tech likes to mess with the church's money, especially when we're using a new system. So if you struggle at all to hear me or my video goes out, I mean, the video is not as important. I am cute, and Honey wants you to see his bar that he has because he's very proud of it. But if anything goes out, please feel free to let me know in the chat because I do have the chat up and I can see you. Hey, Bertine. Hey, Dr. Crystal. Hi. Okay, so let's start off with our goals. So we made a commitment in Q1 that we were going to go and focus on some very specific commitments to ourselves. And I don't like to call them goals because goals means that like it can be achieved and there's a destination, whereas these were more just promises and commitments that we were making to ourselves for Q1. So if you have yours, I want you to drop them in the chat, even if you only give us 3. Drop them in the chat. Let us know what are your goals or commitments you're making to yourself for 2024. And I'm going to share the ones that I shared in Q1. So the first is to prioritize YouTube. I, as you can see, am working on it. YouTube is so foreign to me because you being a YouTuber used to be a very specific type of like creator, and I never really saw myself as a YouTuber. But LaShonda Brown, if you haven't checked her out, I highly recommend that you do. She's been encouraging me to check out YouTube and use YouTube, and YouTube is future. All analysis says that. No matter what business I have, I'm still a data girly, and data says YouTube is where you need to be. So here I am. And here you are too, because you now are sitting on YouTube. The second goal I had for myself for 2024 was to prioritize LinkedIn. Now, this one was kind of hand in hand with cheating on B2C for B2B. So instead of focusing on business to consumer business, so me selling something to individuals, I was planning on focusing solely on me selling things to other businesses. So selling our HR consulting to other businesses. We're still doing that in the HR sphere, fair recruitment and HR. They're still doing that. But I did pivot a bit back to B2C because I saw a gap with Scary But Brave and said, you know what? The world needs this. And phase two of it can be B2B. Phase one of it is going to be B2C. It's going to be directly to the consumer, directly to each of you individually, because it's something that's so powerful and that's needed. So, where does that leave LinkedIn? Well, I'm still going to leverage LinkedIn. I'm still going to work on LinkedIn. It's still a priority for me. It's just now I'm working on how do I make my initial LinkedIn strategy for 2024 work with this newfound focus of Scary But Brave. Whereas for HR, it was pretty easy for me. It was pretty straightforward. This is how I'm going to leverage LinkedIn. Scary But Brave is a little bit different. So I've got to figure out a different strategy, but I am still committed to prioritizing LinkedIn, and I recommend that you do as well. If you have not, and I'm just going to share this now. If you have not, I'm literally going to my phone to get the link. If you haven't um, joined or requested to join our WhatsApp group link, then what I want you to do is I want you to email amber@scarybutbrave.com. I'm going to type it into here in the chat. And I want you to say side by side, because I am going to share with the people in that chat how I'm building Scary But Brave. I'm walking you through the tools. I'm walking you through the processes, how I'm hiring people, who I'm hiring to help me with certain parts, because y'all know web designing is not my ministry. So, how do I make those decisions? How am I picking a logo? Everything, every step of building this, I'm going to share with the WhatsApp group. So, please email amber@scarybutbrave.com if you're interested in joining that free WhatsApp group so you can see how I'm doing this in real time. All right. Okay. So I'm taking a look at some of the goals. We've got revitalize my real estate business. Yes. Love it. Hey, girl. Hey. That makes sense. Focusing on LinkedIn. Do you recommend creating a business account or using personal LinkedIn account? So that's an excellent question. For LinkedIn commitment, it depends on what your focus is and who your audience is. If your audiences are other businesses, I recommend having a business page. If your audience are individuals, I recommend staying on your personal LinkedIn page, but being very active on it. And I have a couple of tricks up my sleeve that I'm going to share with you later that will help us all with our LinkedIn situation so that we can all be better at LinkedIn. All right. Okay, perfect. Hey, LaShonda. All right, so we're cheating on B2C for B2B. We're still going to do that. That's still a commitment for myself, but it's in phase two of SBB versus phase one. The next commitment I made to myself was to plan my exit strategy. I wanted a strong exit strategy. When am I going to be able to retire? What does retirement look like for me? Am I selling the businesses? And I want to kind of give you kind of a progress update on that. So, one of the things I've done now that I've said, okay, I'm closing some of the businesses, I'm selling part of one of the businesses, is okay, I now have Fair Recruiting and HR, which is my HR consulting firm here in the UK, and I have Scary But Brave, and they're both licensed businesses and registered businesses. So what I've decided that is that I want to build Scary But Brave into a legacy business, a business that essentially goes on beyond my physical form here on earth. When I die and I'm chilling up in heaven with Jesus and Luther Vandross, I want Scary But Brave to still be impacting lives down here on earth. However, with Fair Recruiting and HR, my goal now is to set it up so that when I decide I'm ready to retire, I can sell the business in parts. So I've now sectioned off Fair into a recruitment firm, into HR consulting, and now into payroll. All three of those will be sellable elements that I can say, okay, great, I'm going to break this part off and sell it off to someone else or sell it to a larger firm. That is my exit strategy for FAIR. But for SBB, I want it to continue beyond me living. So I want to make sure that as I grow it, I want to make it scalable and make it easy to run, meaning I have to have very strong standard operating procedures. I have to have very strong processes, because if I don't have strong processes, then no one else can take it over. It will forever be dependent upon me, and we don't want that, right? All right, I'm going to take a quick look at the chat, see how y'all are doing. Dr. Crystal's going to finish her book and plan that conference retreat. I love it. Yes, yes. Prioritize LinkedIn, create a YouTube channel, trademark my business, take book and create conference around it. I'm loving these. Yes, honey, it's going to be me, Jesus, Luther Vandross, Aretha Franklin, and Tina Turner. Okay. Those are the only people I care about. And my grandmama. That's it. Everybody else, hey. All right. Okay, great. So continuing with our goals and our commitments to ourselves for 2024, I also shared with you that I want to build sustainability over scaling. I wanted to make a business that was going to be sustainable versus focusing only on scaling the business. And this is key, because remember, I just said I want SBB to be able to scale where someone else could help run it and take it over after I am not able to run it anymore. But the first step has to be sustainability. Now, what's the difference between sustainability and scalability? Scaling means I can grow it and make it larger, and it can have the same impact on my customers at the end of the day. Sustainability means I can keep doing that year after year after year after year, and it doesn't burn me or my team out as a result. Oftentimes people focus on they want to scale, they want to grow the business big, but they don't focus on I want to make sure it's sustainable. For me, sustainability is most important. With SBB, one of the things that I have committed myself to is I don't care if I have the first year only 10 members in our community. I'm okay with that. In fact, I'm limiting a lot of the first challenges, a lot of even the WhatsApp private group, a lot of the different elements are being limited in how many people can join in that first few months, because I want to make sure that what we offer, what we create, what we build is going to be able to be sustainable long term. Scaling, I know how to do, right? We've seen businesses where Amber Aziza scaled the living daylights out of it, and it was a beast of a business. So I don't need to prove to myself that I can scale a business. I know I can. What I have to prove to myself is that I can build a sustainable model that won't burn me out. So that is the commitment I've been working on. And one of the ways I've been doing that, like I said, is with SBB, making sure that I'm putting limits on everything so that I'm not trying to reach the masses immediately, but instead working with a small group, making sure that the methods work for how their lives are, and then scaling from there. Next, consistency, being more consistent. Now I'm going to tell y'all, this one's the one I'm struggling with the most. Y'all ain't praying for me enough, because consistency is kicking my booty right now. And here's the deal. When I think of consistency, like I consistently get up, I have my morning routine, I consistently make sure my inbox is at zero. Like I can do those automated things. But when it comes to things like posting on social, I just have been struggling with the motivation. Have y'all been in that space before? Like I haven't posted on Instagram in almost 3 months. And that's like the longest I've ever gone. And even Facebook, I went like 3 or 4 months and not posted. But I just wasn't feeling it, right? And it's one of those things my grandmama always used to say, if you ain't got nothing worthy to say, don't say nothing at all. Like if you ain't got nothing that's going to improve people's lives, just be quiet. Most people say like, oh, if you don't have anything nice to say, but my grandma used to say, if you don't have anything worthy to say, right? Some people just talk to talk, and we don't want to just talk to talk. I don't want to just add to the noise out there. I wanted to make sure that the noise that I provide is meaningful and transformative to somebody. And I've been doing a lot of inner work. And so with that inner work came the need for me to just kind of be quiet for a minute, right? And that was important. So I am coming back to social media. I do have a plan for consistency. If you're looking for how to be consistent, Highly recommend. And y'all are like, who is LaShonda? Because she's like my biz bestie. She's amazing. LaShonda has a really, really great training that she did on how she remains consistent. And it was incredibly helpful. I'm using a lot of tips from her. So I highly recommend that you check her out. She's at Bootstrap Biz Advice. If you see her in the chat, click on her profile, follow her YouTube because she gives really great advice for business systems and processes, and of course, YouTube. So consistency is something that when we come back for Q3, I am promising myself that I'm going to have movement on it. All right. That's the thing I'm gonna say is I'm gonna come back and have more movement on that. Yes, Dr. Crystal, right? It's consistencies. We're all on the consistency struggle bus. It's hard. It's hard. Yes, we get burnt out and tired and just, ooh, I just don't want to, sometimes just don't want to do it. But I've learned over the years that when I am not motivated to do something, that I then need to jump into kind of my analysis paralysis process. I'm going to share the exact steps of that in like 5 minutes. We're going to finish the goals, then I'm going to share my analysis paralysis process because that consistency, that lack of consistency, is really just analysis paralysis. We're overthinking it, right? We're making it harder than it needs to be, essentially, right? Okay. Definitely understand the consistency. That is why I'm trying to get a team or a few folks to help me. I need to truly understand how to schedule a post. Okay, so LaShonda. Okay, so there's two LaShondas in the chat right now. There's LaShonda with an O, and then there's LaShonda with an AU. LaShonda with an AU just posted a very good point about needing a team. And I want to say, this is our Come to Jesus talk. I've built businesses with major teams, 150 plus employees, and I can tell you, it still won't make you any more consistent because they still need your brain to tap into it. So, my recommendation is to get into the consistency first, right? Get into consistency first on your own and then say, okay, now I have a process and my team can implement it. Teams aren't bad. Like, you know, y'all know teams are amazing. But I'm building Scary But Brave on my own because I want to prove to y'all that you don't need a team to build something meaningful and great, right? No, I thought team was the answer. Teams are not always the answer. Now, there are certain things like scaling or even like admin type things. So if you're spending half your day answering emails, get you an EA. Stop playing. Stop playing. Get you an EA, right? If you're spending all day trying to edit a web page and you just don't know what to do, like go on Upwork and get you a web developer to help you. In fact, that's one of the tools I'm going to share with you. Go on Upwork, get you a web developer that can help you and do it in a couple of hours, right? Know your strengths and know what you're not great at. And instead of focusing all your energy on what you're not great at, just say, okay, you know what? It's not my ministry, and that's okay. It's not my ministry, and that's okay. But you have to know what you want and how you want it before you can bring a team in. And that's my I'll step off my pulpit about teams. Okay. My next goal was to not work 40 hours a week. I have been doing that, y'all. I have been living. Honey and I went to Tunisia. We had the best time. We went to the Sahara Desert. We woke up at 4 in the morning and watched the sunrise. I have been committed to not burning myself out in this process. And a lot of people say, well, yeah, of course you're not burning yourself out. You're down to like one business that's kind of automated and running itself and a new business that you're building slowly. Like, of course you're not going to be burnt out. But here's the tea. In the building phase of businesses is where Amber gets the most burnt out. Because I will spend hours upon hours every single day focused on the minutia of building the business. Y'all get me? Right? Y'all get me? Like I will literally sit there and be like, okay, now I've got to build the website. Okay, now I've got to go with the branding. Okay, now I got to build out 10 blogs. Okay, now I've got to do 10 videos. Now I got to do this. And it will literally burn me out because I get so hyper focused on it. And so I have made a commitment to myself that I am not working 40-hour work week. I am not putting all of my energy that I have into this business because my life still needs energy. Chloe needs a lot of energy. Honey needs a lot of energy. Brixton Bay requires a lot of energy, right? Y'all notice my new background. We moved in together. Y'all didn't tell me how much energy is required to live with a man. It's been a while. So I'm not ever remember how much energy it takes. So it's a lot of energy required in other parts of my life. The business cannot take all of it. All right. And even if you are in the 9 to 5 warrior side of things and you have to work those 40 hours a week, I would still say you can work those 40 hours a week, but look at your energy tank, right? Look at it as a tank. And it's 100% full at the beginning of the week. Don't let it drop down to zero all at work, right? You shouldn't be dropping any more than 50% at work. The other 50% has to be reserved for your life. It just has to be. Your life deserves for you to give it at least 50% of your energy tank. All right? Thank you. Adding that to my goals, working no more than 30 hours a week. Yes. And you know what's funny is that when you really sit down and dig into things, I'm going to give you a tool because y'all know how I am. I'm just going to share the tool. We're all out of order. I don't care. So there's a tool that I use once a quarter. And this tool is essentially a tool that I use to reevaluate how much time I'm using to work on certain things. It's called Time Camp. I highly recommend it because it allows me to track, okay, I'm spending X amount of hours on this, X amount of hours on that. And what I found before I said I'm cutting down and not doing a 40-hour work week, what I found was that I wasn't really being that productive in those 40 hours anyways. I wasn't getting that much done. I was just at the computer, right? How many of you are just at the computer? You're not actually getting that much done. You're just sitting at the computer. Right? So I encourage you, definitely look into where am I giving the most of my energy and why is it work? Why is it my business? Okay? Why is it work? Why is it my business? All right. That is not honey in the pic. Okay, so fun story. We literally just ordered pictures of ourselves. This behind me is Travis Levis, Mr. Travis online. He's one of my besties. These are all my besties behind me. I told him until we have the pictures of us together, it's gonna be all pictures of my besties. So we just ordered pictures of us together to be framed. So they'll be coming soon. All right. Okay. All right. So let's jump back in. We only have a couple more commitments that I made to myself. And the next one was that I was prioritizing my health. Health is wealth. I know it's so cliche, but health is wealth. And for me, I have been focused on health. I've been doing 16/8 intermittent fasting, not really because I need to be restricting myself, but more so to make me more aware of what am I putting in my mouth. What foods are going in my mouth that shouldn't go in my mouth, right? I'm walking way more. I'm working out way more. I'm really focused on what's making me feel good, not just my physical health, my mental health, right? I go see my therapist regularly. Everybody in our house has a therapist. Chloe goes to doggy daycare to get her release. Brixton Bay has a therapist. I have a therapist. We have a therapist together. Okay. Like everyone, his mental health is being taken care of. And that's so important because it's really easy when you're building a business to totally forget that your mental health is a part of your physical health as well. And if your mental health deteriorates, it doesn't matter how in shape you are or how fit you are. All right. Second to last commitment we made to ourselves, investing in ourselves. For every business initiative I launched, for every business project I worked on, I wanted a personal one to be launched as well. So if I launched a new business or I launched a new project, that a personal self-improvement project would be happening as well, right? One to one. And I've been pretty good at that. I launched Scary But Brave and I started cognitive behavioral therapy at the same time, right? I've always been going to therapy, but I switched the focus of type of therapy that I was going to. I also started adding in a little bit of the rejection therapy mindset into things. And if you've not heard of rejection therapy, highly, highly recommend. I'm going to get you the link because I've shared this with my lovely, awesome Five Figure Speech Academy students. And I highly recommend you check out this TED video. It's by Jia Zhang, and it's what I learned from 100 Days of Rejection. So basically, what he did was for 100 days, he went out and did something that he knew he was going to get a no to. And it really, really helped him in terms of getting over that fear of rejection and getting over that fear of being told no for something. And it's made me a better person. And I've done almost all of these over the years. I've done almost all of the 100 things that he lays out. And if you click on the link and watch it, you can actually see what the 100 things were. But it were things that you were almost guaranteed to be told no. Like you go to a stranger and ask to borrow $100, right? Or you go to Krispy Kreme and ask if you can have a box for free. Now, some of them you might get a yes, but there's a good chance you'll get a no. But the goal is that you get used to hearing no and you realize I didn't die as a result of hearing no. I'm not feeling weird. Okay, great. I got over it. So highly recommend. So for everything I've done in business, I've made a personal launch as well to help improve myself. And then, of course, last but not least, in real life is always better than online, which is probably why I haven't been as much online. But having a community online or offline has been very important to me. I have been working really hard to maintain those friendships, and it is work, right? So, what I want you all to do is if you have not seen your friends, right, not your family, not your sister, not your cousin, but friends, actual friends who are not blood related to you, if you have not seen them in over 14 days, I want you to pick up your phone. I want you to text them and I want you to tell them, let's set up time to meet, right? Because that's the only way it happens. That's the only way it happens. You have to be intentional. Without that intentionality, it makes it so much harder to keep those friendships going, right? So if you haven't seen your friends in 14 days or more, I want you to pick up that phone, send them a quick text, and say, hey, let's get together. And then put the phone down because we're about to go into analysis paralysis. All right. When you're ready for analysis paralysis section of our live, I want you to drop the words analysis or paralysis or both in the chat for me so I know that you're ready. I forget how much live streams dehydrate me. Thank God for big tumblers. Alrighty, I see them coming through. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so I told you that when I am stuck, I have a specific method that I use to help me when I am trying to break through. And this won't cure your analysis paralysis, but it will take you back to your why. Because I often ask people, well, start with your why, right? One of the reasons I started SBB is because a lot of people I know, clients, friends, family, have all said, Amber, you're really good at helping me get unstuck. And one of the ways I do that is I ask you to use the 10-10-10 rule. How will a decision or a lack thereof affect you in 3 time frames? In 10 minutes, in 10 months, in 10 years. If I hold off on launching my new project, how will it affect me in 10 minutes? In 10 minutes, it just still won't be done. No big deal. But in 10 months, I'll be behind. I'll be significantly behind. People won't get the impact. There will be people who needed to hear what I shared with them that didn't. And now they are stuck because they can't move past. And now I've impacted them. 10 years. Okay, if I don't do this in 10 years, I'll be looking back at it saying, why didn't I do that? What was I thinking? Right? The 10-10-10 rule. 10 minutes, 10 months, 10 years. If I make a decision or don't make a decision, how will it affect me in those time frames? Now, here's what I do know for sure. Often when I'm going to launch the 10-10-10 rule on myself, I get stuck. And the reason I get stuck is because sometimes I can't logically think about how it's going to impact me in 10 months if I don't start my diet this week, right? Because I want to do it next week. Or if I don't go out to lunch with my friend that I haven't seen in a couple of weeks. Well, it's no big deal. I'll see him in a few months. So then I have to think, okay, well, what happens if this behavior continues 10 minutes, 10 months, 10 years, right? Because it's easy to excuse ourselves and say, oh, well, I'll start next week. But what if you say I'll start next week for the next 10 months? It'll never get done. If you say I'll start next week for the next 10 years, it'll never get done. Ooh, that chat got real quiet. Y'all got so quiet on me. We're like, ooh, now we're talking about me to my face. So here's what I'm going to give you. There is an AI prompt. Now, y'all know I'm all about AI. I love AI. And I am an AI prompt engineer, meaning that I have been trained on how to create AI prompts to get them done the way you want them to do them. So one of the things that I noticed is that when I was getting stuck in the 10-10-10 process is that I needed a push and I needed an outside perspective. So I created a prompt for you. And this prompt, I'm dropping it in the chat now. Maybe not. Maybe I'm not dropping it in the chat for you. I'm going to read the prompt because it's not letting me drop it in the chat, but I will send it via email. Okay. I will send it via email because it won't let me drop it fully in the chat. All right. But I'm going to read the prompt out loud to you. And the prompt says, oh, look at that. It did drop it. It just dropped it in parts on y'all, but I'll still send it an email. It says, I'm contemplating, and then describe your decision, which involves, and then you outline what the task is, the steps are you think, the estimated time that you'll need, and all of these are in brackets, so it'll guide you. The potential outcomes I envision are, and then you list any potential results. Given this context, I'm seeking guidance through a 10-10-10 exercise. Can you help me evaluate how making this decision will impact my life in the short term, 10 minutes, medium term, 10 months, long term, 10 years? Specifically consider the immediate effects, the potential shifts or consequences in my personal or professional life in the coming months, and the long-term implications in my goals and aspirations. Based on this analysis, what insights or advice can you offer to align this decision with my overall objectives? Right? She's a long one, that prompt. She's a long one. Okay. And I'll send that via email. But when I tell you that this helps me almost every single time it has helped me, because ChatGPT will say, okay, Amber, based on what you've given me, here are some potential harms that will happen because you didn't do this. Here are some potential things that won't happen because you didn't start this, right? It's great because you could even use it. I've had friends use it for dating, right? Here's this guy, here's the profile of this guy. What could be a potential harm if I don't go out on a date with him? Right? And it'll break it down. It'll be like, listen, this guy really doesn't seem like he's going to be in alignment with your life. So long term, if you don't go out on a date with him, might be the best thing to ever happen to you. Okay? Thank you. I love my prompts. All right, so that's the 10-10-10 rule to help you break through some of the analysis paralysis, or at least decide if you're overthinking it. Okay, then what's the impact if I don't do it or if I do it, right? Now, this can lead to kind of the next step of analysis paralysis, which is overwhelm. I hit overwhelm last evening. I mean, I hit it. I have been enrolled in an executive MBA program, and it's 12-hour days, 4 days a month, back to back to back. And we have like C-level leaders from Apple, and like there's a director level guy from GM. And there's just like all these really powerful, amazing minds that are in our classes and my classmates. And they're really great. And I really enjoy what we learn, and it helps me really shift my perspective. And I really did it because I kind of hit a point where I was like, I feel like every room I'm going into, I feel like I'm the smartest person in the room. And I know that's not the case. I need to go into a room where I know I'm not the smartest in the room. And so I really enjoyed it, but it's draining to go 12 hours a day, 4 days straight, right after a long work week. And so I kind of hit a wall last night, and I just hit a space of overwhelm where I honestly thought I thought I was going to break down because my body and my mind were both like, enough. Have y'all ever hit that point where your body and your mind say, we're done? And where everything your partner does, your dog does, your kid does, anyone who's around you does is annoying. Everything. It doesn't matter what they're doing. They're breathing. You're like, why are you breathing too hard? It's that space that you get in where you truly have been overwhelmed and you need to simply step away. Last week, cried in the shower. Oh, I'm sending you my love. Because I get it. I didn't cry in the shower last night, but I did cry in bed. I just can't. It's just so much. I can't. Right? Those moments of overwhelm can feel like you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. But that's not always the case. And I kind of want to give you a different perspective to it. When we're in spaces of overwhelm, especially after analysis paralysis or during analysis paralysis, when we're in these spaces of overwhelm, what it's really telling us is that we need a break. More than anything, take a break, take a step back, and figure out what you need for your next step. But first, you have to take the break. It doesn't have to be a weekend away. It doesn't have to be taking a vacation. It can literally just be, I'm just taking a break. I'm just taking, you know what? I'm gonna go stand in the walk-in closet for like 10 minutes. Just everybody leave me alone. Right? Absolutely, because that's when you start second guessing yourself and go into self-sabotage. It's easy to do it because you start thinking, I'm overwhelmed. Maybe this is God's sign of saying I shouldn't be doing it. That's God's sign of saying, maybe there's a different way to do this. Right? That's God's sign of saying, take a beat. Take a moment to breathe. You're not breathing. I recently have had really horrible chest pain. And you all know I had a heart attack. And I was getting really nervous because I was like, oh my God, I've had a heart attack before. And I didn't even know I had a heart attack. And I knew I had chest pain, and I had this chest pain. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, as I'm telling her this, she says, do you always breathe in this pattern? And I was like, what do you mean? And she said, you literally stop breathing for seconds at a time, because that's my stress pattern. My stress pattern is that it literally stops me from breathing, where I'm just like, I'm holding my breath in stress, which is causing my body to go into a huge stress reactor. Like, what's wrong? We're dying. It's like, we're not dying. I just need to breathe. When we get into that space of overwhelm, it's not that you suck and that you shouldn't be doing it. You just need to take a minute and breathe. You just need to take a minute and breathe. That's it. Right? Somebody say breathe in the chat. What I love about live streams is that it's like preaching without a choir, because y'all don't want to hear me sing. Karen says, yes, I'm over it about marketing and messaging to entrepreneurs. I want to bring what I do for corporations and organizations, but the market isn't responding, or I'm missing the mark. Karen, I would say just simply reevaluate what kind of corporations and what kind of organizations, and then focus in, hone in specifically on them. They need you. You just need to let them know that they need you, and you need to say it in a way that they understand that they need you. Breathe, yes. Makes sense. I have experienced AFib, which put me in the hospital. I need to breathe. Yes, we got to breathe, girl. We can't just be holding our breath. Our body is like, no, this is not how we operate over here. This is not how this is. These are not how things are done. That's what my mom's favorite thing to say to me is, this is not how things are done. All right. So of course, I have an AI prompt for overwhelm. Of course I do. Of course, y'all knew this was coming, right? Because sometimes we cannot manage our overwhelm on our own. And AI is designed to make life easier for us. But the problem is people just apply it to their business. You need to start applying it to every aspect of your life, right? So, and I will email this one as well. It's right now, I'm feeling overwhelmed by whatever the task is or whatever the situation is, include the deadlines or external pressures. The aspects contributing to my overwhelm include, and then you break that down. Given these details, can you help me dissect this feeling of overwhelm into more manageable parts? I'm looking for a step-by-step approach to identify the root causes and a strategy for addressing one aspect that I can tackle immediately. Additionally, please suggest a quick mindfulness or grounding exercise that I can do right now to help reduce this overwhelm and regain a sense of control and focus. All right? Let ChatGPT work for you. Let it help you with this overwhelm. Let it help you break through the analysis paralysis because staying in that space is just no fun. All right. Okay. All right. So I want to share with you all about Scary But Brave, and then I'll share with you a few tools that I'm absolutely loving right now because that's what I love to do is to share with you all the things that I'm loving right now. So Scary But Brave, I'm so excited, is going to be a community. And the community is designed to support women and specifically women of color through moments of being stuck, moments where you are needing to make a brave decision, but you are scared out of your mind. Whether it's starting a new job, whether it's moving to a new country, whether it's starting a business, whether it's closing a business, getting a divorce, getting married, deciding that you're ready to move in with your partner, whether it's deciding that you're ready to have a new step in your life that you've not considered before because you've never seen anybody else do it. Whatever it is that you have had ruminating in your mind for however long, saying, oh, I should do that. Oh, I'd love to do that. Right? Those are the things that Scary But Brave is designed to help you with. Think of it like the For Dummies book. Y'all remember the For Dummies book? The like coding for dummies, the cooking for dummies, where they really broke down complex things into more simplified terms. So think of it like that, except for it's got way more soul and way more heart. And the people who are writing them and focused on them are women of color. Right? So we're going to have a community that's online. It's going to be a membership. God is telling me to focus on the people and not the profit. So it will be a very low cost membership. And that's intentional because we want to make sure that people who need it can get access to it. Because listen, God's going to bring me profit regardless. I don't worry about that. What I want to worry about with SBB is that the people who need it can gain access to it. So we'll have a membership side where you'll have access to resources and trainings and workshops. I have a lineup of some super dope people who have just signed on. They have literally just signed their contracts over the weekend that are going to co-facilitate trainings with me because the great thing about SBB is I've never been married, right? So therefore I've never been divorced. I've never had kids. I've never had any of certain life experiences, but I know lots of experts who do and have mastered them. And so those folks can come in and pour into our community on the topics that I am not familiar with. What's great about it is I don't have to be the expert in everything. This is one of those the answer to who isn't always you situations. This is where it lets me tap into my network so that they can pour into you. And so we'll have all sorts of wonderful workshops and trainings for our community. We will have monthly challenges. The challenges, y'all remember, we used to do our 30-day challenge or 30-day morning challenges. It's not going to be at 5 a.m. It's going to be at this time around noon. But we're going to start doing challenges again, only they're going to be 7 days and they're going to be hyper focused. Our very first one is on analysis paralysis, the step by step process of how to break through analysis paralysis in 7 days, right? And that's going to be April 14th through the 20th. And yes, I am going to send the registration link after this live. So if you're not on our mailing list, go to scarybutbrave.com and join the mailing list, because the first challenge doors open and I am only allowing 25 people into it. That's it. Remember, I said we're focusing on sustainability over scalability. So I'm only letting 25 people into this first challenge. The first challenge, because it's inaugural, is only 25 pounds. Y'all know I live in Great Britain. Everything has to be in pounds for me. Don't worry, if you are in the US, it will be $27.50 for you. Okay. So first challenge opens April 14th through the 20th. I will send the link for you to register after this live. I'm very, very excited about it. I'm really excited about it. And it's only an hour a day, 7 days. Okay. Our community is going to launch in May. I am, again, making sure that it's right for you all. And when those doors open, I am maxing it out at 30 people. And then the doors will close. And then the next month, I'll open the doors again, possibly, making sure that everything is working the way we want it to. And we'll open it up to maybe another 15. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is not a money grab. I have a business that's making money. This isn't a money grab. This is truly making sure that this community, that this offering, that this space gives you what you need. Right? And yes, there will be replays. Yes. So LaShonda asked, will there be replays based on work scheduling? Yes. So here's the deal. I know that before, back in the day, old Amber, we're going to call her old Amber, used to be about that life, that if you aren't showing up live, then you're just not committed to what you need to do for live stuff. Then you just don't have the commitment, right? You better rearrange your schedule around the time that I schedule it. This Amber's older and wiser. She also understands that lives, and sometimes you just cannot show up to something, but it does not mean you do not have the commitment, right? It does not mean that you have to or should have to pay more because you're catching the replay and you couldn't catch it live. I think this scarcity mindset in time is something that I've had to work on desperately within myself, as to why did I feel like someone not showing up when I wanted them to show up meant they weren't committed, right? And how everybody else deals with it, because I know there's still some people out there that are like, if you don't show up to the live, then you have to pay $100 for the replay. And it's like, well, dang, the main thing was only $20. Now I got to pay $100 because I couldn't show up because my kid had a recital. That's crazy. So yeah, we're not doing that in this space. This space is for heart-centered and being focused. I want you to make sure that you are doing what you need to do and how it works for you, right? Now, I do want to also make sure that you all are doing the tasks and the challenges so that they actually get results for you. So there will be ways in which, even if you catch that replay, I'm going to make sure that you're still doing what you're supposed to do. LaShonda says, I need this right now. I need to make some major decisions very near future. I know it's coming. It's coming. I promise it's coming. LaShonda says, low cost, low stress. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. We also are going to have a series of books, which I'm really excited about, because we have some really great co-authors that are going to help us cover topics from starting a nonprofit to managing a divorce, whether you wanted it or not, to coming out of the closet, to co-parenting, to getting back in the dating scene. I've got a really juicy special guest for getting back in the dating scene, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm covering so much, because we are multifaceted humans and we have so many different things that we struggle with. And I think it's important that there's a space for us to be able to be vulnerable and say, I'm struggling with this, right? Because where social media is such a highly curated space that shows the highlight reels and shows what's great. And even the posts that are showing, like, let me tell you what I'm struggling with this month. They're vulnerable, but then you're like, but then you're using the best pictures of yourself while you're telling us this. And some of these aren't even real like issues. Like, okay, right? We need a space where we can all just say, I'm not doing so great. I'm not making the best decisions around this because I feel stuck. I'm struggling to figure out what the next step is supposed to be. And that's what Scary But Brave is, to help you conquer and break through those scary but brave movements and moments in your life. Because we can do hard stuff, but we don't have to do it alone. And in a world that has told women of color that we have to be strong and we have to live our lives based on what's going to accommodate and make everyone else feel more comfortable in, I'm saying, no, we don't. Live your life for you. I'm saying, yes, it's scary, but you are so brave and you can have that life you desire. And it doesn't have to revolve around you building a business. It doesn't have to revolve around you making some massive, gargantuan step. It could be as simple as, how do I start loving myself again? It could be as simple as, how do I set a journaling routine? But whatever it is, we're going to get through it together through Scary But Brave. So our first challenge is April 14th, 25 people, 25 pounds. The doors open in May, 30 people. We have not set the exact price on that yet. It's coming. It'll probably be 30 pounds for the first 30 people, but I'm not sure. Please know it won't be any more than 30 pounds for the first 30 people. Because again, this isn't about money. This is about purpose. And honestly, y'all, God has been haranguing me about this for the last 4 years. Like, I had my miscarriage in January of 2020. In the hospital, God was saying, I want you to change your focus. I want you to change your focus. You need to change your focus. Hello, hey, change your focus. And then he kept going for the next 4 years. And I kept ignoring it for the next 4 years, really, next 3 years. I just kept ignoring it because honestly, I had other things that were doing really well. I had businesses that were succeeding. And I thought, why would I start something that does not seem like it's going to make a lot of money, God? I can't see the profit in this. And he kept saying, this profit's not important. Profit's not important. Literally, my mom would call me. Y'all know my mom's a pastor. My mom would call me and be like, God's telling me to tell you, focus on his people. I'm like, you tell God. I heard him the first time. But as my grandma says, that hard head makes a soft behind. And the more I resisted, the more God shook things up, the more he took me out of my comfort zone. The more those things that I gotten used to that made me comfortable were snatched away, broken down, transformed, made more difficult. Things that were super easy to me suddenly became really difficult. And it was just like, okay, I hear you, I hear you, I hear you, I hear you. Enough, I hear you. So then it was, okay, but how do I make it work? And I literally sat down and whiteboarded, mapped it out, ripped it up. Nope, that's not going to work. A couple days later, sat down, mapped it out, ripped it up. It's going to work. Right? It's something that is over a year in the making. Over a year in the making, quite literally. Oh, yeah, you can see. Honey and I, let's see if we can have the camera here. Honey and I, you see that? That's my, okay, you know what? I'm just going to build it and they shall come map, right? Where Honey and I sat down and he had the marker and I just kind of brain dumped and he just wrote everything out. And that's how Scary But Brave was born. Right? So whether I help 5 people, 5,000 people, 5 million people, I know that I'm doing what I've actually been put on this earth to do. I know that I'm doing all the things and trials and tribulations that I've gone through and conquered and the successes I've had have been because it's been leading me up to this point and impacting people on a greater scale. So I'm very excited for Scary But Brave to launch. So is it month by month? Answering questions from the chat. Is it month by month? Yes. So it will be a month by month membership. So if you decide one month you're ready for it, and the next month you say, you know what, nope, either A, it's not in the budget, or B, I don't feel like I really need it this month, you can peace out and come back when you're ready, right? God is truly allowing you to help folks make it to the next level. He is. He was determined to do it. This is speaking to me loud. Oh, good. I'm glad. Hair good body. I may have missed it while multitasking. Is the registration link for the challenge in April available now? So I'm going to email it to my mailing list. If you're not on my mailing list, scarybutbrave.com, scarybutbrave.com, join the mailing list. The email is going to go out within the next hour. Opening registration for the first 25 members of the challenge. Challenge begins April 14th. And you will get some pre-work for that challenge. So I see the stress lifting even haven't started. This is going to help lift. Oh, good. That makes me so happy. Amazing testimony. God will continue to bless you. You're making an amazing impact. Thank you. Thank you so much. Amber, I needed this today. Oh, good. Y'all are so filling. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much. Love it, love it, love it. I do want to, before we go, I had a book I wanted to share with y'all. I'm going to grab it real quick. Let me grab this book for y'all. Because now I have shared this book on my social media before, and I'm going to share it again. It's called Killing Comparison. It's by Nona Jones. Highly recommend, especially if you are a Christian. Even if you're not a Christian, I only say if you're a Christian because it refers to a lot of like Bible scriptures, and Nona Jones is a pastor. But this book is so good. It has really helped me in kind of my process of launching Scary But Brave, because I was feeling like, oh gosh, like what if I put this out there and only 2 people register, and then everybody's looking at me, and all the people who know that I like to do things and do them big and succeed are looking at me and are like, look, she tried something new. That's adorable. It didn't work. And I was comparing myself to other people. I was like, oh, well, there's already a Mel Robbins, and there's already a Gabrielle Bernstein. There's already all of these Glennon Doyle, all of these amazing, amazing women out here who are doing similar work. Why would I step into the stage? And a friend of mine said to me, Amber, it's because those women don't speak to women like us. Some of what they say resonates, but a lot of the things that we have to go through, they don't even experience on their worst day. And that was such a wake-up call for me. And so I have the Bible app on my phone, and I like to do the challenges occasionally. And Nona Jones Comparison Challenge is the first one I took. And it helped me so tremendously that I bought her book, Killing Comparison. And it's just really a good book. It talks about how to break through that feeling of needing to compare yourself to others, and to kind of canceling out the noise and just going for what God made you for. So highly recommend that book. Yes, the prompts did not show up well, but I will email them. I will email them in the same email where the registration for April's challenge will be. So the challenge will be emailed in the same email as the prompts. So you're going to get like a recap email with the prompts. It's going to have the replay link in case you want to come back check it out. It's going to have the links to the tools that I shared, as well as info about this book and a couple more details. So I will put all of that in one lovely email. Just remember to give me a little bit of grace and space, because your girl is doing it all on her own. My EA is out for the next couple of weeks, so I'm literally doing it all on my own right now. So just give me some grace and space as I do it, but I will get it to you within the hour. All right. All right, fantastic. Okay, I know we are at our 1 hour mark. Let's take a nice cleansing deep breath. Everybody, just in, take a deep breath in, hold it, and out. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you have a fantastic morning, evening, afternoon, wherever in the world you are. I hope you're making an amazing day. And remember that you can do hard things, but you don't have to do them alone. And that's why Scary But Brave exists. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.